Over the last few years, I've been creating a lot of content, specifically videos, whether I'm traveling for other people, for myself, the list goes on and on. Over the last few years, I've become really intentional with the kind of content I create, so I only really use about 2 or 3 different cameras. My name is Lawrence and I've been a content creator and I'm here to help you learn about cameras, tech, and over the last few years, I've really started to learn what makes a good camera and kind of what cameras work well. Many years ago, I picked up a Canon camera, I then got an A6400, and then I finally got the Sony a7 IV. And when I tell you, this is probably my favorite camera I've ever owned. And the reason being is because I started off as a hybrid shooter, or more specifically, I started off taking pictures and doing videos on the occasion. My love for cameras actually came from taking pictures, and the A7 IV is a fantastic camera when it comes to taking pictures. It has, I believe, a 33 megapixel sensor. Now, specifically for videos, I have the ability to shoot up to 4K 60. So when you're making cinematic videos, you want to have the ability to color grade your footage. And that's why I really learned about things called S-Log, right? S-Log is a color profile that allows you to shoot in flat. So you then color grade your videos to make it look, or give it rather, a specific style. And what I love most about this camera is that it gives me the versatility and the options to not only capture great photos, but also great videos. If you haven't watched already, I have a dedicated video where I dive deeper into the a7 IV. So with a camera like the a7 IV, it would be my camera that I carry with me everywhere, knowing I can capture both photos and videos. Because with a flick of a button or a switch, I can go from photo to video and I can change the settings based on what I'm doing at the time. And this is really important if you want to be a hybrid shooter. It's not Sony's best camera for photographs, it's also not their best camera for videos, but it is still a very, very high quality when it comes to shooting both videos and also taking pictures. However, over the last few years, I got really into making videos and I like the idea of having an A camera and a B camera. I actually went ahead and picked up a Sony FX3. Now, the FX3 seems to be like the cinema camera that everyone picks up. I'm not gonna lie, it is a fantastic camera, but it does come with a big price tag and also a bulky body. The reason why I use the FX3 is purely for videos. I think since I've had the camera, I've probably taken maybe 5 photos with it, because 9 times out of 10, I probably have my FX3 and my A7 IV with me if I'm going to a shoot. And if I'm taking photos, you see where this is going? The a7 IV is dedicated for taking pictures because it has a much higher sensor and that sensor produces much better quality photos. So the FX3 is solely used for videos. It's great to have 2 different cameras to shoot the same thing at once, allowing you to have an A camera and also a B camera at the exact same time. In this world of short attention spans where you need to keep changing scenes, having an A and B camera that can both shoot at 4K 30, because they can both shoot at S-Log, when you go to color grade it, it almost looks identical, and 9 times out of 10 you can't actually tell which one is which, especially on social media. So you might be asking, if you have the Sony a7 IV, why do you feel the need to pick up the FX3? And that goes back to my original point about being really intentional with the cameras that I own, the cameras that I use, and having a dedicated video camera. Because when I'm shooting videos, I want to get the best possible outcome out there. And also I got into shooting a lot of sports, being able to shoot in 4K 120. It makes it so much more cinematic and makes your videos really stand out. The FX3 is designed as a video camera first, so it's very intentional in the way that Sony designed the camera, with the placement of the buttons, the dials, the extra buttons you get, and also even the grip and the body alone. It actually encourages you to build out a rig, because what I soon learned that when it comes to filming specifically, you actually need a bunch of accessories on top to really get the best out of the camera. Sometimes in a pinch, you can just pick it up and shoot and it looks great. But in reality, if you're shooting on like a big budget film set, if you're shooting a high-end ad or shooting with a client, you're probably likely to add a bunch of accessories onto your FX3 to really enhance how that video looks, or to make your shooting a lot easier to get the best footage possible. So plain and simple, the reason why I have the second camera of the FX3 is purely a case of having a dedicated high quality camera that really can shoot the best quality out there. There's rumors about the FX3 2 coming out and all these other things. I actually have no interest in picking up unless, I don't even know what it could do for me, because I'm very intentional with the gear I own. And right now, as it currently stands, my FX3 and my a7 IV are perfect. Because even with the a7 IV, the a7 V came out not too long ago. And I have no interest because my gear I currently use covers everything I need it to and nothing more than that. Would it be nice to get the a7 V? Absolutely, but I've got a bunch of other things I need to pay for before I even think about picking up a new camera. So if you are conscious out there about always feeling like you need the best camera out there, trust me, you don't. Having a camera from 2, 3 years old doesn't actually matter as long as it does what you need. So that's why I'm very happy with the current gear of cameras that I also use, which is the A7 IV and then the FX3, and then the final camera that I use all the time, which is always on me. I spoke about it in my last video if you're a beginner or not, but that is the iPhone 17 Pro Max. When I tell you having a phone that can shoot in S-Log is honestly an absolute game changer when it comes to being very intentional and creating high quality content, because the iPhone, I can shoot in log, I can shoot 4K 120, 4K 60, I can get a video live in literally 20 minutes when it comes to creating content specifically for TikTok or Instagram. And if you're trying to grow, it makes it a lot easier for you to actually create more content on the go and a lot faster because you can do it all directly on your phone. So I'm not going to dive deep into the iPhone 17 Pro Max in this particular video because I feel like a lot of you at this point know just how good of a camera it really is. More than happy to. Just give me a shout, drop it down in the comments below. It's a short one for me this week. But anyway, peace. I'm out.